This seriously strange hack-and-slash adventure is a disjointed mess of anime cliches, self-deprecating interludes, and the kind of outrageous jiggle physics and awkward sexism that would make even the biggest Dead or Alive fan blush.
You look so good to me.
Baldur's Gate 3 easily exposes the double standard that people have within gaming, and it shows the hypocrisy that's going on as it pertains to Eastern and Western games, because it's perfectly fine to fuck a grizzly bear, goblins, and who knows what else, but it's a terrible thing, and we gotta clutch our pearls whenever an Eastern game dare shows an anime titty. The same people who will tell us that we're weirdos, we have to touch grass, we're a bunch of incels, we have to go outside, we never talked to women before, we just want to jerk off the characters, etc, etc. We're being told all this for simply enjoying Eastern games, but when a game like this tickles their fancy, gets into their fetishes, or whatever else that this game promotes, especially when it comes down to the character creator, and whatever quirky shit that the game may have, it is what it is. You know, you into that type of thing.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Anime waifus are bad, but when you get to fuck a bear and have sex with dwarfs and goblins and choose the genitals you can select, not only on the men, but on the women, but there's no breast sliders. Round of applause for Larian Studios and Baldur's Gate 3. But same can't be said for the Eastern games. They don't get that same treatment. They're constantly under a microscope from these fucking idiots. The same people who complain about the same shit that this game is basically doing. Because my issue is not that people enjoy it or that that type of content is even in the game. My issue is really with the hypocrisy that's going on and how quickly people are easy to slide it under the rug and ignore it simply because it's a new game and they're playing it, they're enjoying it. And my thing is that simply because you enjoy the game doesn't mean it doesn't have any issues or that there are certain things not worth talking about. And it doesn't excuse the obvious woke bullshit that this game has. Because if I'm not mistaken, I could have sworn months ago, maybe even a year or so ago, that there was an article going around somewhere that the original character creator for Baldur's Gate 3, probably when it was in alpha, was being bashed by, you know, a certain group of people. And I'm guessing Larian Studios took that criticism to heart and felt that they had to, you know, get with the modern times, you know, because they need that modern audience so badly. Because I guess, you know, the game can't sell over being Baldur's Gate 3 or the fact that they can't be recognized for what they have done in the past with the Divinity games. They have to sell this game to a certain market, and you can clearly see by what's constantly being shown, because I'm seeing a lot of explicit scenes from people playing this game. I don't see a lot about combat. I don't hear much about that at all. Not a lot about the story. It's usually about shit that, guess what? Eastern games will get bashed for constantly. But with this game, you know, this type of shit is, I guess, is perfectly fine. So I guess in that case, a game like Stellar Blade should not be getting smear campaigns from the same journalists and the same weirdos online who are promoting Baldur's Gate 3, who are displaying their enjoyment, especially with the explicit content that the game has. So if the explicit content in Baldur's Gate 3 is perfectly fine, it's being plastered around all over the place where it's like everywhere, you can't escape it. Probably the most shit in the game you gotta hear about. Where with a game like Stellar Blade, or any other game for that matter that comes out now, maybe they're not gonna say anything about it. Maybe they'll praise it. Maybe now these people will praise a lot of Eastern games that they desperately want to be censored. But we know what's going to happen. The same thing as usual. They're going to complain about the same thing when it comes down to Eastern games and how gamers are so toxic and Gamergate, all this other shit. You know, a bunch of the Sarkeesian talking points that's been going on for a while now. But games like Baldur's Gate 3 gets a pass. And the same people who want to lecture other people about how they should treat other people and how games should be and games are evolving and all that are the same people who are going to be praising this game for shit that ain't got nothing to do with the combat or the story. But we know how journalists are. We know how the activists are online who piggyback on what journalists say. You know, it's pretty funny because this game apparently has such a robust character creation, all these RPG mechanics that it has, that it gives to the player, but I can't change my height on the character. There's no breast options, but there's a bunch of different options for a character's penis. There's a lot of options there, but funny enough, I can't roleplay with a character with different height. I can't roleplay with a character with a different breast sizes. It's almost like they're trying to tell the player something. It's almost like a message, a subliminal message. Maybe it's something that has to do with the developers' ideologies. Maybe they're trying to appeal to a certain market or a certain demographic, or maybe a certain audience of a certain time period, of a certain day, something that's current, right? Maybe that's what's going on. You know what's crazy? That you can't even simply express your opinion about the game when it's negative. If you can't simply just not like the game. You can't find nothing wrong with the game without people losing their minds over it. They think because the game sold well and got positive reviews, being praised, all these people are playing it online, that you simply can't say anything bad about it because they think that your opinion, I guess that's how it seems like, is a fact, when it's just your opinion. You don't like it, you don't like it. That's how it is with everything. Just because I may like something and you dislike something doesn't change really anything when you think about it. So why should it matter if someone dislikes it? They don't have to like the new thing. They could be one of the few people that dislikes it. That's it. Especially if they're giving a reason as to why. They may not like the combat. They may not like the camera perspective. They may not like the dialogue, or just really not into the genre. Maybe they tried the game and it's their first RPG or whatever, and it's like, you know what, it's not for me. I don't like it. And if that's all it is, then okay. They're not putting anyone down for liking it. That's the problem with modern gaming now, is that so many people just, it's like you gotta praise it no matter what. You gotta like it no matter what. Otherwise, you're gonna be, hunted down by a bunch of people who are, a bunch of apologists for whatever game or whatever company, because you just had an opinion about something that wasn't even that extreme. But people lose their shit over it all the time. You see it happen all the time, and this game is no different. My issue is not that the game simply exists. This is not me claiming for a boycott of the game or for people to just delete the game off of their PCs or, a month from now on PlayStation, wherever else it may end up being in the future. No, if you got the game, fine. You bought the game, fine. You want to buy the game, fine. You're playing a game right now, we listen to this or watching this, fine. That's not my issue. I'm not one of these people where I'm gonna do the same thing that they're doing. So, and I know a lot of people probably will claim that that's what I'm doing. That, oh, you're no different than those other people who do the same thing on the other side. No, because I'm not advocating for boycotts. I'm not telling people what to do. I'm stating my opinion. You're free to do whatever the fuck you want to do. You can play whatever game you want to play. You can play this game until your PC explodes. I really don't give a fuck what you choose to do with this game. I'm stating my opinion. And I'm going to stand in my opinion on how I feel, because I know what this game is doing. I've seen it before with other games. I talked about this type of shit before, and I'm not going to brush it under the rug just because it looks cool or it's a new thing or everyone else is praising it and I'm worried about getting backlash or something, because I'm used to getting backlash. I'm used to dealing with a bunch of weirdos going crazy and losing their shit and putting words in my mouth and assuming that I'm this, that, or the other. And especially when it comes down to how characters are depicted in games and how Western studios do a bunch of dumb bullshit to please ESG elitists.
I see a lot of things. I ain't saying nothing.
This is a classic case of that saying, rules for thee, but not for me. Because if the roles were reversed, then, as usual, the same people who are praising this game for its content would get at Eastern Games and the developers, telling everyone that they had to mature. Gaming has matured, and we gotta think about modern day sensibilities when they're promoting a bunch of bullshit. Because when it's the other way around, it's bad, right? That's how these people are. That's why they're not to be taken seriously. They're jokes. That's all they are. This exposes them as the clowns that they are. If it didn't before, it definitely does now. They are a joke. I have no intention on buying the game whatsoever. So if you want to say some dumb shit that he's gonna buy the game anyway. No, I'm not. Nice try, but no, not happening. Because unlike a lot of people, I have morals, okay? What good is my word if I can't stand on what I say? I can't back up what I say. Because once the shiny new thing that piques my interest is just too much for me to cave in. I'm not doing that. Not interested. If I'm gonna say something, I'm gonna stand by it. And I stand by what I say. I'm not supporting bullshit like this. I have no intention on supporting bullshit like this. I don't care how minor or how major it is, because it starts off minor and then it becomes major and then it gets worse. Because watch Baldur's Gate 4 or the next game by Larian Studios, the next Divinity game, you're gonna see more of this shit, and you're gonna see it more within the writing and the characters and everything else within the game. That's how it usually is. It never fails. So I'm not gonna fall for it. I'm not gonna give them the benefit of the doubt. Fuck that. I'm not gonna be fooled by this shit. Other people can, but I'm not.